If you've ever had any knee pain, or your knees feel stiff, or they're wobbly or unsteady when you walk, this video is built just for you, because by the end, you're gonna have a 4-step sequence that is going to improve your overall knee health, your ability to do harder tasks and produce more force without pain, and improve your performance. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is make sure you have full knee range of motion. There's good research out there showing that if you can work through full ranges, you'll increase the hypertrophy or muscle growth response. Conventionally, there's 2 movements of the knee: straightening or knee extension and bending, knee flexion. But there's so much more to it than those 2 movements. The knee is not a hinge joint. There's actually rotations that happen as you straighten and bend the knee. When the knee straightens, the tibia has to externally rotate or twist outward, and the femur must internally rotate or twist inward. This action is called the screw-home mechanism. As we bend, those rotations reverse. The tibia internally rotates and the femur externally rotates. And it's this rotation that almost everyone glosses over when they're improving their knee mobility. But don't worry, I have 2 moves I'm gonna show you right now that'll tackle that and improve your knee mobility so much better. Get your foot flat so you feel weight on the inside heel in the base of the big toe. Take the outside hand, grab the thigh and twist it inward. Grab the inside hand, grab the shin and twist it outward. Keeping the foot flat as you're gonna inhale, straighten the knee, exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten the knee, exhale, bend. Try 2 to 3 sets of 10 on whichever knee is having a difficult time straightening. Try this foam roller move to improve your knee bend. Take a foam roller and put the tibial tuberosity, which is that bony point just below your patellar tendon, on the foam roller. You're gonna roll your leg out to the side. From here, keeping that roll, you're gonna inhale, rock back, exhale, come forward. Inhale, rock back, exhale, come forward. You're gonna do 2 to 3 sets of 10 for 2 to 4 weeks before moving on to this active variation. Find a bench or a box, put your foot on it. You're gonna take your inside hand, grab that bony part right in front of your shin, pull it inward. Take your outside forearm, put it right against your thigh. You're gonna twist that part outward. Maintaining pressure and keeping weight on the inside heel in the base of the big toe. You're gonna inhale, push your knee forward, exhale, bring it back. Inhale, push your knee forward, exhale, bring it back. Maintain that rotation throughout. You're gonna do 2 to 3 sets of 10 per side for a couple weeks. The second thing is to get stronger through the full range of motion. Now, some people out there are saying, oh, you should never push your knees past your toes, or don't you dare ever squat below parallel. But that's a bunch of baloney. In fact, these studies right here show that most compressive load in the kneecap joint or the patellofemoral joint occur at 90 degrees, and anything below that is actually less for 2 reasons. One, because your calf and your thigh touch one another, that gaps the knee joint. It's called the thigh shank contact. The second reason is because as the knee bends, the patellar tendon and the quad tendon create a knee wrapping effect, which again is protective of the knee. Now that doesn't mean you just squat all the way down right from the get-go. You gotta make sure that you progress your mobility over time so your body can get used to that strategy. You wanna be about your foot length away from the wall. You're gonna do a quarter squat down, making sure your weight is on 3 points: the inside heel, the base of the big toe, and the PSIS, which is the bony part right above the pelvis. Make sure as you get that point, you're not forcing your back into the wall. Arms are gonna be up, just like so. Looking straight ahead, you're gonna silently breathe in through your nose and slowly exhale through your mouth. Perform 5 sets of 5 breaths 2 times per day for 2 to 4 weeks with that move. Then progress to a goblet squat hold. I would do this on a ramp with Olympic lifting shoes or on some sort of elevated surface. Hold the weight at about chest height. Make sure the arms stay still. You don't want them coming up as you lower. Eyes to the horizon, silent in through the nose. Exhale, squat down about a quarter of the way, staying heavy on the heels, but making sure the feet stay flat. Silent breath in through the nose, soft exhale through the mouth. Perform 5 sets of 5 breaths 2 times per day for 2 to 4 weeks before you progress to the dynamic version. For the dynamic version, you're basically going to do the same thing except move. On the inhale, you want to think heel heavy, knees forward, butt down. Exhale, back up, staying heavy on the heels. The arms never move. Try 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps. When you can comfortably hit 3 sets of 12, that's when I would add weight. If squats are feeling pretty good, now's the time to move to a single leg exercise. I love split squat variations for knee health. Here's where I would start, and that's with the front foot elevation. What I would do is get a weight, get a box that's about 2 to 6 inches in height. You're gonna put one foot on the box. That's actually gonna unweight the front leg, which is good in the beginning. Keep that in mind because you're not gonna go as deep as you normally would with split squats. Hold the weight chest height, arms don't move, eyes stay forward. Start with soft knees. You're going to be heavy on the inner heel and the base of the big toe. From here, you're gonna inhale, think front knee forward, back knee down. Exhale, come up without locking out. Inhale down, exhale up. If you're someone who feels a lot of the back leg working, what I would do is push off on the big toe so you load a little bit more to the front leg. So you'll create this little shift and then go down. Perform 2 to 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps. Once you can get 3 sets of 12 comfortably, you probably can either add weight or progress to a reverse lunge. The cues are gonna be exactly the same, only this time you're gonna start with your feet together, stay heavy on the inner heel and the base of the big toe, eyes forward, arms fixed. Inhale, step back, kneecap to the ground, exhale, come up. Inhale, step back, kneecap to the ground, exhale, come up. Same thing, 2 to 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps. If you can hit 3 by 12, super easy, then you ought to move forward. A forward lunge puts a little bit more stress through the knees, but by this time, you've built such a rock solid foundation, you're ready for it. Cues will be the same. You're gonna start with your feet together, step forward, front knee goes forward, back knee goes down, exhale, come back. Inhale, step forward, keeping heavy on the heel, exhale, come back. 2 to 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps, and no one ought to mess with you. The third thing we want to improve is force absorption, our ability to tolerate external forces. This is basically reinforcing the braking mechanism when we are doing things like jumping, cutting, and landing. A lot of times when people land, you'll either see the knees cave in or they'll land very stiffly. This puts more strain into the knee joint. We want to minimize that. We want to improve our thigh and hip musculature's ability to help absorb the landings, as well as the connective tissues. We can use 2 strategies, sticking landings and cheek cleans. Let's first talk about sticking the landing. With this, basically, you're gonna take any plyometric and just hold the landing for about a 3 count before you perform the next jump. You can do this with box jumps, hurdle jumps, or any type of plyometrics. When you're doing these landing sticks, I would do anywhere from 2 to 5 sets of 5, and you wanna make sure that you're producing as much force as possible. Don't rush through this because once fatigue sets in, you wanna call it. The next move is a cheek clean. This works similarly to the sticks, only this time we're trying to absorb not just the landing, but the weight that we are cleaning up into the air. And you can literally do these in concert with some of the lower body exercises that we talked about before. Simply pairing your goblet squat with a cheek clean beforehand on the ramp can do wonders. I would do cheek cleans in squat variations as well as split squat variations. The key with this is you don't want the depth to be that low. You want to work on stopping as quickly as possible. And the reason why is because when we jump, when we cut, we don't go through full range of motion. It's quick and dirty, so you can move wicked fast. For these, I usually go anywhere from 2 to 5 sets of 2 to 5 reps. Again, you want the output to be high. If you can't move the weights fast, you're done. And don't you forget to stick that landing for about a 3 count as well. Now, the last thing is working on our ability to produce force. And this piggybacks off of the force absorption strategies. With those, we were holding the landings. With these, we're doing repeat contacts. So you want to spend as little time on the ground as possible. The cue I want you to think about when you're doing these is pretend you are jumping on hot coals or liquid hot magma. Either of those cues work really well for making sure you spend as little time on the ground as possible. You can also progress the cheek cleans, but instead of actually doing the clean, what you can do is just loaded jumps. You don't want the loads to be so heavy that your jump height is limited, but heavy enough that it's still overloading the tissues and improving your force production. For these, I will go anywhere from 2 to 5 sets of 2 to 5 reps. Again, keep the reps lower so you can keep the output higher. Now, a lot of times, knee health goes beyond the knees. Things like hip mobility deficits can also impact your knee health and performance. If that sounds like you, maybe you got stiff hips, I would check out this video right here where I go into 5 bombshell exercises that'll kick up your hip mobility to the next level.